Hey there, traders. Chris Drysdale here with another video. I'm excited to drop this one with you guys. If you haven't checked out my last video, futures trading using only VWAP, please check that one out. I got a great response on it. Apparently, this is a lot of great information that people are just starting to take in now and are finding these principles really powerful. So excited to kind of continue down this path with everybody. That's a great video. That's going to give you some background on using VWAP and VWAP bands. So for example, on this right chart, this is a 3-minute chart on crude oil. This middle line is a VWAP on the session, anchored at the session open, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the time before. And we have a 1 standard deviation to the upside, a 1 standard deviation to the low side. That's all I'm using for the most part on this chart. And we call this, on the inside area is balance or value. And when we're in balance or value, we can expect to chop around in here because the market's in balance. People are agreeing on price. When we escape and start trading and accepting prices outside of balance, we get bigger moves and extreme moves to the downside and upside. And this would be called imbalance. This up area is value area high, I'll be referring it to, and value area low. Okay, so that's a lot of principles I talked about in my last video. I don't want to go too in deep on that because I did cover it at length, so please check out that video. What I'm going to cover today mostly is going to be initial balance. Now, if you're not familiar with the initial balance is the first hour of trading on any market. Okay, it's the live session open, all right? Not the Globex session, so not the first hour when futures open at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Each of these markets has a regular trading hours, RTH, that opens at a different time, right? Most people are familiar with the U.S. indices with their regular trading hours opening at 9:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. So an initial balance, and this left side is going to be our initial balance screen. It's a 15-minute chart, right? And it's 9:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time to 10:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Okay, that's our first hour of trading. We take the high and the low, all right? And this is going to be an initial balance for the remainder of the session. What's nice about these is these levels stay static as opposed to the VWAP. Our VWAP changes as the volume changes during the session. So our upper band and our lower band changes. What's nice about the initial balance is that these stay the same. Okay, so they're also very powerful. I'll use 2 of these in tandem. Again, please review the VWAP for a lot more information on that. I'm just focusing on initial balance today, but a lot of those principles are going to be combined with what I'm doing here. It's important to know that different markets, like I said, have different opening times. So the opening of it's called open pit outcry, all right? That's at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the energy market. So crude oil, so 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the same for natural gas. 9 to 10. Gasoline, heating oil, that's all going to be 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Each metal has a different opening time. So, for example, gold is 8:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to take 8:20 to 9:20 for our initial balance. Silver, I think, is 8:10. Copper is 8:10. Platinum is 8:20. So they're all different. Just, you're going to want to confirm those times. I'll post them in the Discord. But metals have the most variation for their opening regular trading hours. Our meats, so lean hogs, feeder cattle, live cattle, our regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Same with the grains, so soybeans, wheat, corn, soybean derivatives. And then our bonds open at 8:20 Eastern Standard Time to 9:20. So those are our need to be managed separately and set up separately. Also, what a lot of people don't talk about on this initial balance, so the initial balance high, initial balance low, we can expect to chop around these areas. When we break out of them, we can expect price discovery to the downside or the upside. What we have is a mid-market, so this is 50% of our initial balance, right, the halfway point. We have our 50% high and 50% low. So half that distance to a high and low. Then we have 2x, so double the range, right? So if I were to use this price range and move it up, it's the exact same. So we have a 2x and a 3x. So that same distance from low to high in the opening initial balance is now also 1 and 2x times away to the high and low side. So these levels are very important. They often provide support and resistance, and we're going to use them in tandem with our VWAP. Now, a trading strategy I really enjoy using initial balance, and this kind of deviates a little bit from my VWAP strategy is fading the extremes. So once we break out of initial balance, waiting for it to get to the 50%, the 2x or the 3x, and trying to get a bounce back. This is usually more of a scalp trade. I'm not looking for a big move, but I am looking for some response back in the direction. So I'm trading outside to inside. All right, so the outside extremes back in. All right, so that's how I'm trading these initial balance levels. How I'm scanning this is going to be on my trading station over here. So on each screen, I have 6 markets. Right, so on the top left, I have what you're looking at is oil, natural gas, heating oil, and also gasoline. Lower left is gold, silver, and copper, and also platinum. What's nice about these charts I have set up are, you can see our VWAP. That's that black line in the upper value, lower value levels. But also I have this blue box, and that's my initial balance. So each market has this blue box. It's really easy for me to see when price is trading within balance, like it is here on platinum, or when price is starting to trade outside of balance, like it is on a lot of these charts. And this is Friday, December 22nd, I believe. Also, you'll see my 50% levels and my 2x and 3x IB highs and IB lows also on here. I also have VWAP 2 and 3 standard deviations. So these are all showing me when we're in value, in balance versus at value extremes or initial balance extremes. These are all areas I'm looking to fade once we get to them. Okay, so switching back, once I see something that's interesting, that's breaking out of balance, I'm looking to get down to an area I like. So for example, this trade on gold, this was Friday, December 22nd. We broke out below IB low around 11:45 in the morning. We sold off to 50% IB low, which was also in confluence with value area high on the weekly VWAP. I have the weekly VWAP on this left 50-minute chart. Starts at the beginning of the week, anchored to Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and takes into account volume and price through the entire week. All right, so these are very important levels, VWAP on the week, upper value and lower value. So what we have here is confluence. We sell off to 50%, right? On the IB low, we have value area high on the week, and we also have value area low on the session. Okay, great trade, great long trade. Where do we go back to? We went back to IB low, retested it before we came back down again. Love that trade. All right, so I'm looking for these extensions out of IB, this blue box, and then looking for one of these levels to be confirmed with what's going on with VWAP in my value area. All right, so let's go to oil. We also got a nice trade here. This broke out of value pretty early, 10:30 in the morning. We sold off all the way down to 3x lower IB, right? So this would have been a nice area to get in, almost to the tick. And we went long. A nice area to take profit. If you could have held this, was value area low on the session. Love this trade. I'm using Heikin-Ashi only on this 3-minute. I don't use it on my chart. Any other chart, this is just to help me identify the trends a little better on the 3-minute. I'm not executing on Heikin-Ashi, so that's all separate. Natural gas, looks like we got up to this IB2X level and experienced some nice sell-off or chop. You know, we did pop above it and we reclaimed. And we got all the way back down to VWAP. So you might have gotten stopped out on this one, unless you took some quick profits. You know, you might have got some nice good profits if you get in on this level for a quick scalp. But we never did get back to value area high until we went higher. But then we didn't break below it, went straight to VWAP. We had some nice confluence on breaking back into value area high on the session. Okay, so if you did get back in here, nice target would have been VWAP. Gasoline, got a little bump here. I'm going to skip past that one. We did gold already. Silver had a nice one down to weekly VWAP. And IB2X or close to it. That would have been a nice area to fade. So that would have brought us down right here. You know, we got some chop in this area before we got a nice recovery and bounce to scalp. We stayed in balance. So, you know, there's no trades here if I'm looking for this strategy. We stayed in balance most of the session on lean hogs. Feeder cattle broke out, broke through weekly VWAP. And where did we go to? IB high, 2x plus value area high on the weekly. So that was a nice setup short. Could have taken that back down to value area high on the session VWAP. So that would have been a nice trade. Soybeans stayed in initial balance, no trades. ES really never got into a level. Looks like we bounced a little bit here at 50%. And then we broke below 2x before we reclaimed. So you would have had to be really patient on that one. If you're watching Heikinashi, wait till you get that first white candle and the reclaim of this 790 level. So that's right around here. And that would have been a nice long. Okay. Otherwise, no great trades unless you were trading off this 50% level, which we really didn't get until here. No real bounce. So no good long setup. You know, there was confluence. A little bit. Better trade was the reclaim of this level, of this 2x level, which was right here. Reclaim, and then back up to trade back in value on the session. We stayed in initial balance on Russell. It could have been some good longs here because we were holding some areas on the weekly VWAP and then off of VWAP and lower value on the session, but not a fan of trading these if I'm looking for imbalances. So, but this is a setup per my other video. So if you're combining these three metrics, this would have been a great long right here. Lower value on the session. We got initial balance low on the weekly. And then, you know, if you could hold back up the VWAP or at least upper value on the weekly. NASDAQ, this was a tough one. You know, we did go almost down all the way down to 3x value, initial balance on the low side. And then bonds, we went down to 50% for a nice long. So that would have been a good area to get long bonds back to, this is the 5-year, back to value area low. So that's a bunch of examples, all right? So I'm looking for price to break out of initial balance, trade down to one of these 50%, 2x or 3x levels, and then I'm looking for a nice confluence on the weekly VWAP and session VWAP, using both value area low and high to help gauge both profit targets or entries. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. If you guys haven't noticed, I started switching over to black and white charts. I've been reading a lot of psychology on using green and red on your charts and how it kind of subliminally affects your emotions. The selling and the buying, the green, the red, P&L, all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to take out a lot of that color stuff in my charts unless it's annotations to minimize any emotional response. So you might want to try that. That's new for me. I'm really liking it. I think it's really cool. So, you know, if you want to catch me in my free Discord, I trade with my buddy Cash. We are trading these setups live every morning. We go live at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time, trading the initial balance extremes outside in, and then also we'll trade balance. So both are great. I do recommend becoming a specialist of one or the other first before trying to incorporate both strategies. So go back, watch my VWAP video if you're unfamiliar. Also, you might want to start incorporating this initial balance. The indicator is initial balance by Noop Noop. All right, and that's just adding that to the chart, and then you can edit it in the settings. So that's it for me today. Chris Drysdale dropping some initial balance wisdom on you guys. I will be back on Tuesday, trading live in the Discord. If you want to join, link is in the video below, and looking forward to joining us. Have a great one. Merry Christmas, everybody.